You may have heard his voice on the radio. You may even have seen him a few years ago right here on Action News.
But few people know the story of how a local radio DJ helped save the life of a North State teenager. It's hard to believe, but as the pair told our own Rob Blair in an exclusive interview, you just have to have a little faith.
Good afternoon, Northern California. I am back. Oh, man, I am so glad to be back.
He's an electrician turned Christian radio DJ. You can hear Russ Boss on KKXX every weekday, sharing inspiring stories from North State listeners. But perhaps the most inspiring of all is one of his own stories. September 27, 2006, Bus came upon an accident that would change his life.
I'm going up the highway. I passed the first accident. I'm thinking about what the police and the firemen had told me about medical history, shut down the highway, blah, blah, blah. And I go around the corner, come on up the hill a little bit, and suddenly I come up to Yankee Hill Road and Highway 70. And there's two minivans crashed in the hillside, and one of them's on fire.
People were trying to break the windows and free 18-year-old Tim Hooper. Bus used a small fire extinguisher he'd only put in the back of his cab the day before to temporarily douse the flames. Another man, Mark Kinsey, was able to pull Hooper's charred body from the wreckage.
Tim was on the ground, and he was naked. Just about this much of his shirt was there. His legs were burnt up so badly it looked like, my description was electrical tape peeled up along his legs. His toes were gone. There was just nothing but charcoal.
He wasn't breathing.
I just took the key clicker, I jammed it in his mouth, and I twisted it sideways to hold his mouth open. And then I pulled his tongue over, and when I pulled his tongue over, he started breathing.
Then something miraculous happened. Tim opened his eyes when Bus shouted at him.
Tim, my name's Russ Bus. I'm in the business of saving lives, not losing them. And you're not going to die today, son, because I'm with you, and Jesus is with me, and he's not going to let you die either. You're going to make it.
2 months later, after coming out of a coma and several major surgeries, Tim Hooper met one of the men who saved his life.
And he said, I'm Russ Bus, and he said the only thing I wanted on Thanksgiving was to come here and see you.
Skin grafts and broken bones have left Hooper in pain, but his spirit is not broken.
It hurts really bad, but it's great because it reminds me, it's a constant reminder of what I've been through and how much better I am now.
And he doesn't take anything for granted.
I definitely appreciate every breath and every bite and every step.
Bus says a higher power was at work the night of the accident. After repeated attempts to put the tube into Hooper's throat, Bus shouted out,
Angels, in Jesus' name, get that tube over and down his throat, even if you have to suck it down.
The tube went in. He then looked up into the sky and said a quiet thank you, but didn't expect a reply.
But the fireman at the foot of the board turned and looked at me. He had Butte County Fire turnouts on, helmet, looks at me, 60-ish, wrinkled face, bright blue eyes, looks at me and he says, you're welcome.
Bus and Kinsey were honored 2 months later. Everyone was at the ceremony except for that one firefighter.
They don't know who he is. And the firemen that were at the awards banquet began to shed tears along with the firemen, or the policemen, and along with a bunch of the others that were there, because there was a visitation by somebody who helped do the pulling of the tubes. Nobody's showed him to me. Nobody's found him.
Bus is convinced that there were angels there that night. Whether you believe it or not, it strengthened their relationship with God and with each other.
The things that have happened in his life has just been short of incredible. And it has been life-changing for me as well. And it would be for many people, because what he's learned and shared with me has been amazing.
He left his family or wherever he had to do, and he came and he saw me on Thanksgiving, and he had already saved my life. And then to do that and be so selfless, I mean, I learned a lesson from that alone.
Rob Blair, Action News.